Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we will discuss on cross origin request and also will show you the demo. This functionality helps us to increase the security of the application. I would like to encourage you to please watch my previous video related to web apps. So let's start. Cross origin resource sharing is a browser mechanism which enables controlled access to the resources located outside of a given domain. The same origin policy is a restrictive cross-origin specification that limits the ability for a website to interact with a resource outside of the source domain. The same origin policy prevents a malicious site from reading sensitive data from another site. Sometimes we might need to allow other site to make a cross-origin request to our app. Below are the example of a same origin URL which we can access easily without any extra configuration. However, the below URL are example of different origin which are by default restricted, and to access this URL we need to add some extra configuration in our application. In these examples, different domain where we are using example.net. It is different from example.com. In another example, we are using contoso.example, which is a different subdomain of example.com. In third example, we are using HTTP in place of HTTPS. In last example, we are using different port, which is 9000. Now we will see how we can implement CORS in Azure Web App. For this, let me navigate to Azure portal. This is the home page of Azure portal. To implement the CORS in web app, we need to create a web app first. For the same, let me navigate to app service, click on create and web app. This is a basic template to create a web app. Provide a meaningful name to web app. Select .NET at LTS as a runtime stack. Keep operating system as it is and select Australia Central as region. For this demo, I will use the pricing plan as a basic and click on review and create. Click on create. We'll come back once the resources get created. Now the resource is created. We are now on overview tab of web apps. Click on URL. This is the home page of the application. Now to implement the cross origin policy, we need one more web app. So we have to follow the same steps what we have followed previously to create a web app. We'll come back once the another web app is created. Now web app is created and navigate to URL. This is the web page for another web app. In this way, we have a two web app with the URL in a different origin. Now we have two web app created. Now we have to create two applications and we need to deploy in web app. For the same, let me navigate to Visual Studio. This is the Visual Studio. Navigate to Solution Explorer. I have already created the application called CORS source. Navigate to controller. This is the application provide details of the weather. This application is a boiler code we get when we create the web API. Let me build the application. This is the Swagger page of the application and this is get request. If I execute it, below is the output it provides. I have created another application as well to another web app. Navigate to Solution Explorer and navigate to index.html. Here it is a URL section where we need to mention the URL of previous web app once it deployed to web app. Let me build the application, navigate to index.html. So this is the output. Let me navigate to previous web app and publish it. Click on next. Select Azure App Service Windows, click on next. We have two web app in Azure. One is destination and another is source. Select source web app, click on next. Create a new instance for API management and provide your details. Click on create. Click on finish and it creates our publish profile. Click on publish. The application is deployed. Navigate to API and this is the output of the API. Now copy the URL and paste the URL in this application, which is another web API. Now we will deploy this web API also in web app and follow the same procedure. Now this is also deployed. Let me open the developer tools and console tab and navigate to index.page. Now if you remember, our index page is calling our source web app. Hence in console you see we get an error of CORS because the URL is from different domain, and by default browser restrict the access to the URL due to the security reason. Now to enable the CORS, we need to navigate to Azure portal and in our source web app where we have deployed our weather API. We need to navigate to CORS section. Click on the checkbox for enabling the CORS and mention the URL of destination web API and save the changes. Changes are saved now. Navigate back to our destination web app and refresh the page. And you notice we have the weather information populated, whereas previously it was restricted by the browser. In this way, we specifically provide the URL in Azure web app to allow the other web app to access the URL. In this way, we provide an exception to some URL and achieve our goal without compromising the security. I hope now you are able to understand the basic concept of CORS and how we can use in Azure web app. With this, we end our video here. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye.